A lot has happened over the last 2 years. 2 years ago, this month, we moved into this apartment. And a lot's happened. We moved in. We waited 3 weeks for my stuff to come out of storage from Denver. We had to persevere through COVID. We changed trucking companies. We bought 25 acres. We had weight loss surgery. What else did we do? A lot has happened over the last 2 years. And quite honestly, it's time to move on. Why did we want to move? Apartment life kind of sucks. It doesn't matter how nice the apartment is. Well, quite honestly, the reason why we wanted to move was because of the fact that just the clientele, so to speak, was kind of starting to go downhill in that apartment complex. I always try to time my package deliveries with our home time. So if I know we're going to be home from March 1st through March 10th, I'll schedule all my deliveries to be arriving between that time window. And sometimes things get delivered a little bit early, sometimes things get delivered a little bit late, and it may be a couple of days before we can get to our apartment to retrieve those packages off the door. Well, we worked out a deal at one point where we had FedEx. If I knew something was going to be coming and we weren't going to be able to get there in time, we'd just tell, our driver manager to basically, get us through the yard so we can go pick it up, or we'd work with FedEx and have them hold it there at their facility. We would try to have the delivery guy deliver to the office, the main office, but sometimes the communication was a failure and packages got left at our door anyway. Okay, fine, no big deal. But for the first, year and a half, package would sit there for maybe a week and it would stay there and no problem. But then, I guess, right about November, right before Christmas, obviously, right about the time we got our camper, I had bought some plastic plates and cups and stuff so that we could put them in the camper. Anyway, the packages got stolen off my front door. So that's a problem, obviously. You can't trust your neighbors even with your packages. That was one issue that we were having to contend with. And then it just seemed like, and there's nothing wrong with truckers because we're truckers ourselves, but it seemed like more and more drivers were living there and truckers need a place to stay. But the first thing we did when we got an apartment was we bought a car. And, but more and more people have bobtails and they're bobtailing home and parking their bobtails for a week or two at the apartment complex, and there's already limited parking. And those bobtails are taking like 2 or 3 spots. So it just seemed like, people were less considerate. Then, and then somebody died in our building, like the last day we were there. The cops were there doing an investigation, taking pictures, all that stuff. Michael went out to go walk the dogs and he happened to see them. Then he went to go get coffee, and that's when he noticed they were doing an investigation, and it was more than just somebody dying of old age or having a heart attack or I don't know what. And then as I was taking a box of cleaning supplies out of the apartment and to put them in the car so that I could finish up in the apartment, they were loading a body bag into the back of a hearse. And there was a young girl standing there, you know, observing sadly. And man, the sadness that was radiating off of her was overwhelming. So Michael and I think it may have been an overdose, because everybody in our building is young. Everyone I've seen in our building is either yeah, they're all young, like younger than us. You know what I mean? Like newlyweds just starting out in life, or young single parents. So we don't know. He could have had a heart attack. He could have had an overdose. He could have slit his wrist. He could have, who knows? But we didn't hear a gunshot, so we don't think that it was anything like that. At any rate, with that being said, we knew it was just time to move on. It's just like we were becoming more and more aware of bad things happening. And we didn't want to take the risk or the chance of something worse happening and us being involved or indirectly involved, you know, because wrong place, wrong time, whatever the case may be. And just like that, we're off to the next adventure. Until next time, toodles, y'all.